What's up, y'all? This Exodus 1, aka Indigo Sky, aka Trigger Ranker. Basically just about to do a couple of reaction videos, man. Just see what's going on in the world this morning. Because it's actually Thursday, so we'll just see what's going on here. Oh, we gotta do this. Dr. Umar, they're publicly lynching Diddy to warn Jay-Z and Kanye. Let's see what happened, y'all. We lead so good
American Bible. Bamboo HR is your complete HR, payroll, and benefits platform where everything works together in one place.
All right, y'all, we checking out Panda Press first. Just the first one we doing, Panda Press.
You ever notice how every time a black man gets
Panda.
too powerful, too rich, too loud, he suddenly becomes the villain?
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?
Malcolm, Martin, Tupac, Nipsey, Diddy, and Dr. Umar just said what most been scared to even whisper. They're publicly lynching Diddy to warn Jay-Z and Kanye. See, this ain't about crimes or court dates. It's about control, psychological warfare. They don't hang you from trees no more. They hang you on timelines. So we're gonna break down exactly what Umar meant, the history behind this symbolic lynching, how the media became the new noose, and why every black mogul out here is walking on invisible landmines. Grab your seat, because this one gonna sting a little. Let's talk about how they teach by example. So here's what Dr. Umar said, and it's wild once you really think about it. They're publicly lynching Diddy to warn Jay-Z and Kanye. Bruh, that's not just clickbait. That's a whole psychological operation wrapped in a sentence. What he's talking about ain't just about Puff getting caught up. It's about the ritual, the public humiliation, the message behind it. Cause look, when they want to kill a movement, they don't always use bullets. They use embarrassment. They strip you of dignity, legacy, and power on camera. And they broadcast that fall like a movie over and over till every young black man with ambition gets the message. Don't ever think you bigger than the system. And Diddy, he was more than a rapper. He was a symbol, a man who touched the White House, moved billions, owned liquor, owned media, touched politics. Too much control for comfort. So now the world watches him fall. The headlines, the clips, the raids, the leaks, all playing out like a live execution. And Umar's point, it's deeper than Diddy. It's a warning. See, Umar wasn't just pulling this out of thin air. History's already shown the pattern. Every time a black man stands up, builds something or challenges the system, he becomes a lesson. Malcolm X, televised martyrdom. Martin Luther King, national broadcast. Tupac, character assassination before the bullets even hit. Nipsey, they made sure we saw the footage, bruh. And you ever notice? With white leaders, they buried the trauma. Abraham Lincoln, top 5 president, but where's his death photo?
Shit, I don't even know. I can't even tell you that.
JFK, shot on live camera, but they hide the real footage. But with black leaders, it's front page, every angle, every drop of blood. That's psychological warfare.
It's almost like back in the day, if you ever know anything about slavery, they had a thing called buck breaking. And what they would do is they would take the biggest slave in the actual, in the village or whatever, or in the field. They would tie his arms and his legs to 2 different horses. And what they would do is they would hit the horses, and basically the horses would pull them apart, and they would do that in front of all of the slaves. So they would be afraid to run away or do anything that, you know what I'm saying, that will be deemed as insubordination, dealing with, I guess, the master.
Yeah. You don't just kill the man, you kill the hope attached to him. You traumatize the people watching. so the next generation grows up scared to even try to lead. That's what Umar means by public lynching. It ain't about ending one man. It's about making all of us think twice before we rise.
And take them out in a way that make people fearful to like step up.
Oh, absolutely. It's one of the reasons why they constantly broadcast the execution or at least the death. If you notice, Abraham Lincoln is one of the most famous presidents in American history. A racist, but one of the most famous presidents in American history. You can hardly find a death photo of him.
Right, man.
In American history, you can hardly find a death photo of him. John F. Kennedy, very famous also. You can find death photos of Kennedy, but not as often as you will find death photos of King and Malcolm.
Wow.
In other words, when they assassinate our leaders, they put those bodies on display as a conditioning for other Africans to never attempt or even dream of following in their footsteps. Those murders, going back to the Willie Lynch letter, they don't murder African leaders just to eliminate that particular threat at that particular time. They murder African leaders as a lesson to all of those would-be leaders who will be coming in their path. If we go back to the Willie Lynch letter, whether the letter is authentic or not is irrelevant. The psychological science of it is true and exact. In that Willie Lynch letter, it talks about making an example of the biggest and the boldest in front of the women, children, and the other men. That's what Malcolm's assassination was about. That's what King's assassination was about. You know, that's what Dean Kamafe's assassination was about. Amilcar Cabral, Thomas Sankara, Maurice Bishop, their assassinations were examples to would-be leaders because, again, with most Black children being raised by their mothers across the diaspora, not just America, across the diaspora, so many of our children are raised by the mother. What does Willie Lynch say? If you abuse that man in public, the mother will raise her son to be a coward.
Wow. That's the playbook. From the plantations to the tabloids, same script, new actors. Now, what Umar's really talking about here is psychological warfare. See, it goes all the way back to that old Lynch blueprint. Break the spirit, not just the body. He said straight up, when you punish the boldest one in front of everybody, the rest will behave. That's the science of control, bruh. You make an example. You turn a man's downfall into a cautionary tale. That's what they did on plantations. They beat one slave in public so the rest wouldn't run. And now they just changed the tools. Instead of whips, they use the media. Instead of ropes, they use court cases, headlines, mugshots, and memes. Instead of hanging you from a tree, they hang you on the front page. And the people watch again and again. And whether you realize it or not, that repetition programs fear deep in your subconscious. See what happens when you step out of line? That's why Umar said it don't even matter if that Willie Lynch letter was real or not. The psychology of it is real. The conditioning still works. It's modernized, digitized, monetized, but it's the same damn trick. You can't fight what you don't recognize. And that's exactly why Umar dropped that line. Not just to defend Diddy, but to remind us that fear is the oldest chain on earth.
The mother will raise her son to be a coward for fear that the same thing that happened to the father will happen to the son. So that's why you don't see unapologetic, politically and economically unapologetic Black men as much as you used to. Definitely not in the United States, because they will publicly lynch and symbolically castrate you, Sean Puffy Combs, who may have been guilty of some crimes but did nothing more than any other white mogul has done in that same space. But we're going to publicly castrate and lynch you since you want to start this Black political party, and since you want to sue Diageo, this powerful white liquor company. We need Jay-Z to know we're not going to tolerate this. We need Tyler Perry and Oprah Winfrey. We need Rihanna. We need Tiger Woods, not to say that he would, but we need Tiger Woods and Serena and Kanye to know we won't tolerate this kind of stuff.
Bruh, let's be real. The media done turned into the new plantation, except now the whips are words and the masters own networks instead of cotton fields. You think you just scrolling? Nah, you watching digital executions. They take the black man with the biggest reach, strip him naked in front of millions and call it justice. But it's not justice, it's entertainment. It's trauma on repeat. Click, share, repost, monetize. They profit off the pain and sell you fear in HD. And the wildest part, we participate. We retweet, remix, react, not realizing we're the new crowd at the hanging tree. We've just replaced the ropes with comment sections. That's why Umar.
Yeah, I like his parallel, views on the differences between back then to now. The correlation is spot on, man. I really like Panda, man. Panda's
Said
cool,
what he
bro.
said. This whole Diddy thing ain't random. It's orchestrated. Every camera flash, every leaked clip, every exclusive headline, perfectly timed. They don't just want to punish Diddy. They want to condition the next Diddy, the next black man thinking of starting his own liquor brand, label, or political party. The message is simple. You can rise, but only within our system. And if you step outside that line, they'll remind the world who owns the spotlight. Now let's get real. Diddy's fall don't feel random, bruh. It feels ritualistic. Like somebody hit the play button on a script we've seen before. Look how the dominoes fell. One leak, one clip, one ex coming forward, one raid, then suddenly the whole world's tuned in to watch him burn. And yeah, I'm not saying the man's innocent. Nobody's defending Bad Boy Records hotel life, trust me.
You don't find
Enhancer
that
practice with
suspicious?
low Zoom white space. 25%
You don't
hydrogen
find that
peroxide gel
suspicious?
combined with the advanced blue.
But when the fall feels too perfectly timed, you gotta ask who's really running the cameras. Umar called it a public lynching, and that's exactly what it looks like. They didn't want to just stop Diddy. They wanted to display him, turn his downfall into a Netflix documentary before it's even done. That's how you destroy legacy in real time. They'll take a man who built an empire from Harlem to Hollywood and make him the new warning sign for every future mogul with a dream. Cause you know what scares the system more than a rich black man? A rich black man who owns influence. And Diddy had both: culture, companies, connections, and control. That's a cocktail they don't let sit too long. So instead of a bullet, they use humiliation, raids, lawsuits, leaks. You can call it karma if you want, but bruh, this looks like strategy. Now here's where it really gets messy: the Diageo problem. Most folks don't even realize this might have been the real spark. Diddy wasn't just a rapper with a Ciroc bottle. He was an equal partner in one of the biggest liquor deals ever made with a black entrepreneur. And when he sued Diageo, a billion-dollar British liquor empire, he didn't just file paperwork. He challenged the structure of white corporate power. Umar called it plain. You sue a white liquor company, start talking about a black political party, and next thing you know, they coming for you. And look what happened. Suddenly, leaks, allegations, old footage resurfacing out of nowhere. You ever notice how timing works when a black man starts suing the wrong people? The world flips that open investigation switch real quick. Because it ain't about liquor, bruh. It's about leverage. Ciroc was never just vodka, it was visibility. Revolt TV wasn't just media, it was message control. And that's what scared him. Diddy wasn't asking for a seat at the table. He was building his own. So they flipped the script. From mogul to monster. From self-made to self-destructive. All while the headline sold the downfall like it was justice served. But deep down, you can feel it. This wasn't just about accountability. It was about containment. Now let's talk about Hov, Jay-Z. The billionaire chess player who moves like every square on the board got cameras on it. You notice how quiet he's been through all this? No tweets, no statements, no interviews, just silence and strategy. And that ain't by accident. Jay knows how this game goes. One wrong sentence, one emotional reaction, and they'll make him the next headline. That's why Umar mentioned them by name. We need Jay-Z to know we won't tolerate this. Translation, stay in line or we'll turn your empire into a documentary too. See, Jay built a brand on beating the odds, from Marcy Projects to Madison Square Garden, but that same success turned into a cage. He's so powerful, he can't even move freely no more. That's the scary part of making it inside the system. You become too valuable to fight it. Jay ain't stupid. He saw what happened to Ye, what's happening to Diddy. He's thinking, if they can cook them, they can fry me too. So he plays quiet. It's turned into a cage. He's so powerful, he can't even move freely no more. That's the scary part of making it. See, Jay built a brand.
It's almost like Willie D had a video about Michael Jackson. He was saying that Michael Jackson was so into the music and was so famous that he would try to get his clothes washed and things of that nature. They said that because he was so famous, they would steal his clothes. He would never get his clothes back. Then he was trying to say that he was stinking, but no. Lionel Richie wrote a book. It's a book he just recently dropped, and it got a story in there talking about how stank Michael Jackson was and all this other stuff like that. So yeah, but it's like when you get to a certain like Michael Jordan, like them folks can't really go nowhere, bro. Like they prisoners down there. Bro, you know, if Michael Jackson walk through Lennox Mall right now, you know how many people will have a camera in his fucking face, bro? Bro, the whole mall will stop, bro. It'll be like Black Jesus walked up in there or something, but yeah, man.
And on beating the odds, from Marcy Projects to Madison Square Garden, but that same success turned into a cage. Powerful, he can't even move freely no more. That's the scary part of making it inside the system. You become too valuable to fight it. Jay ain't stupid. He saw what happened to Ye, what's happening to Diddy. He's thinking, if they can cook them, they can fry me too. So he plays quiet, invests in art, NFL deals, reform movements, stays politically safe while still looking like he's making moves. It's not cowardice, bruh. It's survival. And that's the deeper message Umar hinting at. Even the kings in this game ain't free. They just got bigger chains made of equity. Now on the flip side, there's Ye. The loudest voice in the room. The man who said, I sold my soul to the devil. It came with a few toys. Umar said it plain. Kanye's been the most outspoken, but he always keeps a snow bunny on his arm. And that's the paradox right there. Kanye's like that dude who breaks out the matrix, but still brags about the chains he escaped with. He talks truth about music industry control, media ownership, the Israeli influence, but the imagery he keeps showing tells a different story. You can't preach liberation and still flex the same validation you fighting against, because that's how the system wins. It don't silence you, it absorbs you.
Now, out of all of them, Kanye has been the most outspoken, right? And I appreciate Kanye's unapologetically black tone. I'm not gonna say African with him because I don't know if he identifies as African. So I'm gonna say unapologetically black. And of course, I'm the father of both of those sayings, by the way. I created those. Unapologetically black, unapologetically African, even though everybody ran with it, those are Dr. Umar's creations. But anyhow, even in Kanye's unapologetic assessment and expose of the Israeli control of black entertainment, he always manages to keep a snow bunny on his arm. And the reason Kanye keeps the snow bunny on his arm, because the snow bunny symbolizes to the white power structure that no matter what I say or how much I challenge you, I still go home and sleep.
And Umar's point wasn't to clown Ye, it was to show how deep the
Damn, God, damn. Bro, that was deep, right? Bro, that was stupid deep right there. Damn! Bro, you gotta run that back, bro. Run that back. Run that shit back. Hold on. We gotta run that back one more time.
He identifies as African, so I'm gonna say unapologetically black. And of course, I'm the father of both of those sayings, by the way. I created those. Unapologetically black, unapologetically African, even though everybody ran with it, those are Dr. Umar's creations.
Panda Press.
But anyhow,
all right.
Even in Kanye's unapologetic assessment and expose of the Israeli control of black entertainment, he always manages to keep a snow bunny on his arm. And the reason Kanye keeps the snow bunny on his arm, because the snow bunny symbolizes to the white power structure that no matter what I say or how much I challenge you, I still go home and sleep.
And Umar's point wasn't to clown Ye.
That's deep.
It was to show how deep the programming goes. Even the ones who see the truth still crave the same approval. That's what the snow bunny symbolizes. Compliance disguised as freedom. Kanye wants to be independent, but he still plays their game. Fashion shows, brand deals, social validation. That's why his message hits hard, but never lands clean. He's both the rebel and the evidence that rebellion costs everything. And Umar used him as a mirror to show that even our loudest voices still echo inside someone else's system. So yeah, Ye's free, but only as free as they allow him to look. See, this is the control game, bruh. You don't need chains when you got contracts. You don't need whips.
Damn, son.
Glasses. Every black icon that reaches a certain level, they get a visit. Not literally knock on the door type, but the message gets sent. Stay in line. Don't wake the people. Don't talk too loud. That's why Umar listed the names. Jay-Z, Oprah, Tyler, Serena, Rihanna, Tiger Woods, even Ye. These are global faces, but global under supervision. They let you build a brand, yeah, but that brand gotta fit the system's aesthetic, not challenge it. Try stepping outside, they pull the plug, freeze endorsements, cancel tours, make you radioactive overnight. That's why so many of our heroes age into silence. They learn speaking truth costs too much. And the system?
I'm gonna tell y'all somebody who aged well in the music industry. Nas, Andre 3000. Them two right there, they aged like really well in the music industry.
Oh, it's slick. It'll make you believe you're free. It'll hand you awards, call you visionary, put you on magazines, then remind you whose building you're standing in. This is why Diddy's fall hit so hard. It was a public reminder to everybody else in that circle. They don't just punish individuals, they calibrate obedience. That's the hidden contract of fame. You can win big, but only if you never question who writes the rules. Now let's talk about the part most folks scared to even mention, the new form of castration. Umar ain't lying when he says they don't hang you no more, they humiliate you. They strip your image, your reputation, your masculinity in front of the whole world. That's the 21st century rope. They don't need a lynching tree, they got X. They don't need a mob, they got comment sections. Every clip, every headline, every meme, that's a public beating in digital form. And we eat it up like popcorn. That's why Umar said they symbolically castrate these men. Because when you destroy a man's image, you neuter his influence. Look how they do it. First they hypersexualize you, then demonize you, then moralize your fall. It's choreography. Back in the day, they drag a man through the streets to make an example. Now they drag him across algorithms. You've seen it. Mugshot thumbnails, think pieces, late night jokes, all synchronized humiliation. The goal ain't justice, it's obedience through fear. Because if they can publicly emasculate the richest, most powerful black men alive, what do you think that tells the next generation trying to build something? It tells them, don't be too bold. Don't sue the big dogs. Don't own your masters.
That's crazy.
Don't talk about control.
And that's how you make your money in the music industry. You own your masters, you own your publishing and copyright. And basically that's it. You know what I'm saying? Your publishing, your masters, and your copyright. You know what I'm saying?
It's the tragedy Umar keeps pointing at. The psychological chain that still jingles, just with a Wi-Fi signal now. So now let's ask the question that's really sitting under all this. Are these black icons actually free or just expensive property with better benefits? Because look around. The patterns don't lie. Every time one of them gets too loud, too independent, too unapologetic, the system readjusts. And that readjustment is cold-blooded. They let you taste the throne, but they own the kingdom. They hand you the mic, but mute the message when it starts hitting too deep. They give you representation, but never revolution. And that's why Umar's message hits a nerve, not because it's new, but because it's consistent. We've been seeing this since Garvey, since Malcolm, since Sam Cooke, since Tupac. Same rhythm, same punishment, different hashtags. You get the mansion, but not the muscle. You get the deal, but not the direction. You get the money, but only if you promise not to wake the sleepers. So nah, this ain't just about Diddy. It's about control. Who gets the lead? Who gets destroyed? And who gets televised when they fall? And the real test ain't whether these brothers survive. It's whether we finally stop needing validation from the same system that keeps killing our leaders in slow motion. That's the deeper lesson. Every black billionaire is still one bad headline away from being a cautionary tale. And if that don't scare you, it should wake you. See, at the end of the day, this ain't about celebrity gossip. It's about patterns, pain, and power. We watch these public lynchings on our screens and call it news, not realizing it's a rerun of the same old play. The goal ain't to defend Diddy or blame the world. It's to understand how the game's played, how they study psychology the same way we study survival. They learn, if you can't kill the body, kill the image. If you can't silence the man, flood the feed. If you can't stop the movement, distract the people who are supposed to follow it.
Right.
And it works, bruh. Every time we see another black figure fall, we internalize fear instead of strategy. But here's the flip. Once you see the manipulation, it loses its power. Once you stop worshiping celebrities and start building communities, you take the magic back. Because trust me, ain't no savior coming from Hollywood, from politics, or from billion-dollar boardrooms. Freedom starts with awareness. And that's what this whole conversation really about. So if you learned something tonight, drop a comment below.
Hey man, y'all stay aware. Y'all check out Panda Press. Y'all been kicking with me on the Karma Cafe. I'm definitely coming back. I gotta go make a quick little call. Coming back, man. Y'all hit the like button on this video and I'll be right back. After